right, friends, welcome to this tutorial. I am going to show you how to do the Kitchener stitch. It is like not as hard as you are probably thinking. So I'm going to show you an easy way to visualize it and to get it right every time. You're going to take your yarn. I've got it already off my machine because this is not a tutorial to show you how to make the tube, but it's just a tutorial to show you how to close it, okay? We are going to take our long tail that we cut off, okay? We're going to get that waste yarn. Well, it's got to stay on the outside so that you can, well, it doesn't actually because you're going to pull it from here. So you can tuck that in. Sorry, a little confusing there. You can tuck that one in and get it out of your way. But you're going to take a look at your stitches here. The working yarn is attached to that loop right there. That is the first loop on the top row. When you go to the bottom, the one that your waste yarn is coming out of, that is the first loop on the bottom row. We're going to think in terms of top row and bottom row, okay? But before we do that, we're going to take stitch markers. I want to mark the last two on this end because as you start working and pulling, you think, okay, now where are those last two stitches? And because sometimes they get tight, so we're going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23. See, you would have thought it was over here. 23 and 24 are the very end stitches when we are working this, okay? And that way you're just gonna know that you've got all of them, because if you miss one of these, once you take your waste yarn off, it will drop your row. So we wanna make sure that we are working every stitch. So to begin the Kitchener stitch, you are going to take that tail that is on your needle, down in this first stitch where your waste yarn is coming through, you're gonna just go and pick that one up. Because this is the loop where our yarn is attached to, that's the first one we're going to use. So if you want a visual, if you take those two and you bend that down like that, you see a stitch, right? There's the point of the V, there's the wide part. You're going to take your needle, you're going to go right across. How easy is that? That's how I visualize it. When I visualize it, then I can get it. Okay, this is the loop that we worked because our waste yarn's coming out of it. If you take that and you point it like that to make a stitch, this is the one that we worked already. This is the next one. You go right across. And once you get this visual, see that stitch? Once you get this visual, you will be able to do it without bending your work. But it's just a nice visual to help you see. This is the one that we've already worked. We see our yarn coming out of that. This is the one we need to do next. So we're going to make that a stitch. We're going to go back into the one we worked before and go right across. See how easy? You're going to pull this, but you just want it to have the same tension as what your work is, so you don't want to pull it too tight. This is the one that we've already been in, and we have to go back into it. So we're going to make that stitch just like that. Go across. If this isn't the easiest way to visualize the Kitchener stitch, I don't know what is. Okay, this is the best I can do to show you how to do it. This is the one we've already worked, but we still have to go back into it, make our stitch, go across, pick up that whole stitch. So the wide part of the V is closer to you at the top row. Give that a little pull. Go to the bottom row, the narrow part of the V is closest to you when you make your stitch. And you go right across. Let's do that a couple more times and then I'll show you how you do it without making the V. So this is to visualize it. You just pick up that stitch. Go back down to the bottom. Pick up that stitch. And then, now that you can see that V, you don't have to bend it. Now you know that this is the stitch. So you're gonna go pick it up. Just like that. You know, this is your stitch. So you're going to pick it up just like that. Up to the top, the V points up. Down to the bottom, the V points down. Up at the top, the V goes to the top. Up at the bottom, or down at the bottom, the V is closer to you. And that, my friends, is how you do the Kitchener stitch with an easy visual to help you figure it out. Again, if you go, okay, now what do I do? What do I do? Take your piece, look at the one that you already worked, then take the next one, bend it so you see your stitch, and just go across, pick it up. And if you're confused at the bottom, you bend it so you see your stitch, and then you go right across and you pick it up. Isn't that like such an easy way to visualize it? And we're getting a beautiful, beautiful seam there. And then, you know, again, once you've done it 3 or 4 times, I promise you, you won't have to bend it. You're just going to go like this, and it's going to be like natural for you to do, and it's so easy. And you're going to just say, thank you, Shelley. And I'm going to say, well, you're very welcome. So friends, I hope that this has helped you. And when I get to the end, which will be soon, I'm just going to follow along with you. I will show you how we close it off. Alrighty. So what I would encourage you to do is to go back to the beginning, look at how I started it, and watch this video a couple of times before you attempt it, and that will help you to visualize it and get it better, okay? But we are almost there. Doesn't take long. It's so fun. It's nothing to be scared of. When I first started knitting, I thought, oh my goodness, how am I going to do that Kitchener stitch? I can't do that Kitchener stitch. I'm not a hand knitter with knitting needles. I can do a little bit, but not much. I actually would like to learn and pick it up a little bit better. I can do the knit stitch and the purl stitch, and they say if you can do that. And I've made a pair of slippers, and I've made a beanie just with your basic stitches. And they say if you can do that, then you can pretty much do anything. I don't know about that. I have a friend who makes absolutely gorgeous stuff. Shout out to you, Deb, if you're watching this, with knitting needles. And I would love to learn that too. So we're almost at the end here. Okay. I know that these are my last 2. I have to go back into this one, pick up that stitch, back down to this one, and pick up this stitch. Now, when I remove my waste yarn, it's not going to come undone. But before I pull that tight, I'm going to stick my needle in that loop and knot off. Then I can take these 2 little guys out. Just like that. I can go ahead and remove my waste yarn, and you are going to see the magic. Where is my tail? There it is. So I'm going to just turn it this way so that I can, when you pull on your tail, you see it's coming this direction. It's easy, then you'll know which way to pull. So pinch a stitch, pull that tail the opposite direction. Go down 5 or 6 stitches, pinch a stitch, pull that tail. Because for me, when I did this cast off, you're wondering, how come you're pulling that off on the end of your work? And that's because when I cast off with waste yarn, then I cut off a tail, and I put it on my needle, and I did the drawstring cast off. Otherwise, as you know, if you don't, this just keeps coming undone, and it's halfway down to your work before you have your work done, and it's your stitching done, and it's very, very frustrating. So then if you just do the drawstring cast off, that will help. Now for your long tail, another little tip that I will show you. Pop that into the center there and out your work. Put your finger in that loop because you don't want to take it all the way through, but I'm showing you 2 different tricks here in one video. But you want to leave it a little bit like that so you can find it later. Then when you pull your waste yarn off, it doesn't tangle around your yarn tail. Generally, I will roll this up as I take it off, but I've used it several times, so I'm not going to use it again. So I'm just going to throw it out. And there we go. Removing that waste yarn. Friends, we have gone and done it. You cannot tell that it's not, you can't see it. Like, it just fits that row. I mean, you can see it a little bit, but it just follows that same patterning, and you have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful edging. So that, my friends, is how you do the Kitchener stitch.